and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video I would like to talk about TAEMIN's idea, focusing on a little breakdown and analysis of the concept, the lyrics and the music video. Now, Idea is a song that deals with the themes of identity, rebirth and idealism that focuses on an inner transformation that TAEMIN foreshadowed back in Never Gonna Dance Again Act 1. Much like anticipated in my criminal video, if Act 1 dealt with TAEMIN's rebellion against the norm and the process of finding a new ego, Act 2 is all about the result of this process and the birth of a new self-identity. And this idea is perfectly conveyed in both the lyrics and the music video, where TAEMIN actually uses Greek philosophy as a way to express the awakening of his new self. As we'll see in a second, the video is a visual masterpiece that portrays TAEMIN performing in scenarios that at first glance may seem a bit obscure. But as it turns out, the abstract imagery that is shown in the video is actually a perfect representation of the concept at the core of the song, because, much like what the title implies, the idea that TAEMIN is talking about here is the Greek word for idea that refers to Plato's theory of forms. Now, very simply put, Plato's philosophy basically revolved around the idea that there are two realms, the first being the physical world where everything changes and we interact with material stuff, while the second one being none other than the spiritual world, which is timeless, absolute and eternal, and that Plato also called the realm of forms the realm of ideas or hyperuranian. Now, according to this theory, the physical world we all live in is not the real world, but just a shadow or image of the hyperuranian, which is a perfect reality that exists beyond the heavens and that actually contains all ideas of real things put together. This basically means that everything that we know as humans, whether it be physical things, concepts, or even our physical selves, are nothing more than an imitation of the pure and abstract forms that can be found in the spiritual world. And the only way for us to reach this world is to achieve enlightenment through knowledge, because, according to Plato, the mind was the only thing that was able to bridge the gap between these two realities. Now, if we apply this concept to the song, Idea can be seen as TAEMIN's way to show his personal journey towards the realm of forms, as well as his transformation into the purest and most perfect version of himself possible. And much like in the original theory, the song foreshadows that this transformation is achieved through reason, because in the lyrics, TAEMIN is actually referring to a person that he considers his messiah and that guides him in his path towards enlightenment. You see, as he said himself on multiple occasions, the song basically shows TAEMIN's process of looking for a utopia for himself, meaning that this transformation is indeed about him looking for a type of perfection that his reality only imitates. But much like Criminal told us, this perfection can only be achieved once TAEMIN detaches himself from the material world and actually understands that their reality is fake. Now, if we consider this as a metaphor for the music industry, this is actually a great way to express TAEMIN's wish to transcend the false perfection of it all in order to find the real perfection that he has inside of himself. And in the video, this idea is conveyed since the very beginning, where we see two TAEMINs actually interacting with one another through a jail visit window. Now, right off the bat, this imagery is very interesting because not only the two TAEMINs shows us the contrast between the physical world and the spiritual one, but also that one of them, that is, the real form of TAEMIN, is actually trapped and waiting to get out. The fact that the two TAEMINs are interacting, however, implies that TAEMIN's journey to freedom has already begun, because the first step to achieve this enlightenment is to become self-aware and understand that the physical reality is fake. And this is very telling because, as a matter of fact, this is exactly what happens at the very beginning of the song. As we see him walking around in a white room full of people, the lyrics tell us that as the shadow is holding the night and getting darker, a dream starts blooming inside of TAEMIN's mind, and this dream shows him a small reflection that is made by reason and that grows on instinct. Meaning that even if right now TAEMIN is still trapped in the physical realm, this illusion is already starting to crumble, because his encounter with his messiah is showing him a beautiful silhouette that until now was hidden inside of his heart. As we see in the video, TAEMIN here faces a silver figure that slowly takes the shape of a man, and this figure is none other than his original form. That is the idea of him that lives in the spiritual realm and that now is manifesting because he's becoming self-aware. Now, this first encounter is obviously very shocking because, as the lyrics tell us, TAEMIN thinks that he's losing his mind. But soon enough, his surprise is actually replaced by a new understanding of himself, because even if he cannot see or grab anything, before he knows it, he starts redefining himself according to his new knowledge. You see, much like what the lyrics imply, the realm of ideas is a realm that is completely abstract, so it makes sense that TAEMIN is initially confused, because right now he's actually trying to understand this reality using his physical senses. He tries to see and he tries to touch, but ideas are invisible and untouchable, so he thinks that he's going crazy, even if in reality he's actually realizing himself. What TAEMIN is doing here is basically shifting between the physical world and the spiritual one, so as everything is dabbled inside of himself, the video shows us that his reality is actually falling apart. If in the forest we see the shadows appearing and disappearing, the people in the bar do the same as well. And this is because the dangerous dream that he's living has proven to be true, and TAEMIN is actually understanding that the world that he knows is just an illusion. This is a very intense moment for him. It's scary, exciting, and even cathartic, if you will. But right after, we actually see him on a staircase in the sky, meaning that, despite his confusion, TAEMIN was eventually able to transcend the physical realm and actually achieve perfection within himself. As the lyrics tell us, through the shadow of his Messiah, that is guiding this journey, he was able to go beyond the limits of realization and trust everything that is invisible. And because of that, he was able to throw himself into the ideal and achieve ultimate enlightenment. As the video shows us, now the TAEMIN that was trapped is finally free. Now he has become the best version of himself possible, and he has realized his full potential by becoming the brightest presence in the world. Now TAEMIN is his idea of an ideal, so the song ends with him opening his eyes because his transformation is finally complete. A new TAEMIN is born, and this is the beginning of a new life. And this time his reality is a utopia because he detached himself from the environment that killed him and is now reborn as a perfect self. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please think about liking and subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye!